Welcome back to TYT Sports, everybody. Jason and Andre continuing our What If series, and this one comes from a YouTube commenter from TYT Sports. We do read the comments. We love all of your opinions, the nice people, the not so nice people. We know where you are. Regardless, one of the YouTube commenters who's been constantly commenting on the What If series, so thank you for watching. Wealthy Wolf, I believe his name is, or her name is, had this to say about the What If series. Do one where we look into the future. For example, what if the Timberwolves are able to keep Towns, Wiggins, and Levine? When do they become a title contender? It's the first time I've ever had to use youtube.com/TYT Sports as a source on I'm sourcing our own show. I don't even know if that's correct, like APA style. But why do we pick this comment? Well, Andre is a Timberwolves fan because of Kevin Garnett and also gets to watch the likes of Karl-Anthony Towns literally demonize the NBA. It's unfair what he does. And my God, just real quick on Karl-Anthony Towns. I always have to listen. He's like 12th on Hollinger's PER stats. He's got like 300 double-doubles, which isn't even possible considering he's only played about to play his 80th game in the NBA. This guy is so freaking good at basketball that if he doesn't win an MVP, I'm going to be really upset at myself for saying that he's going to win 2 MVPs in his career. But Andre, the future of the Timberwolves, with the likes of Wiggins, Towns, Levine, maybe Rubio, a new first-round draft pick this year, where do you think that, or when do you think they could contend for a title with what they have?
If they keep what they have and they, are able to keep kind of adding to it and building around it, they could be contenders in maybe 2 to 3 years. But, there's some big ifs in there. Towns, you were talking about how good he's been as a rookie. It's been such like a upslope. Like we went and saw him play in Vegas last year, and it's funny. My wife came to the game with me, and in her eyes, he's this big old boy. She was like, I could look at him and see what he looked like when he was 7, and it looked like his body was oversized, and he was kind of clumsy on the court, and you could see he was like practicing moves. He wasn't trying all out. He was trying to see what would work, and to see him go from that to where he was by November, December, which was, a clear Rookie of the Year favorite, to where he is now. Whereas if he was playing like this for the whole year, he really would be an all-NBA team selection. So, yeah, I mean, he looks like a future, like you said, MVP franchise centerpiece. The bigger question mark to me is Wiggins. He was the Rookie of the Year. He's a really good player, but his current style of play does not scale up to first-team All-NBA type player. To me, if I'm Andrew Wiggins, I have a tape of Kawhi Leonard on repeat at all times. That's who he should emulate. Wiggins doesn't have the handle to be a traditional first option wing. He's not going to be the one, kind of like LeBron, who can score 30, but also gives you 5, 6, 7, 8 assists. Like that's never going to be him. So to maximize his talents, I think he's tall for a wing. He's like 6'8", 6'9"-ish, and obviously he could jump. He needs to get stronger. Like I think Kawhi and he are about similar heights, but Kawhi has him by about 40 pounds. He needs to get stronger so that he could be kind of a tweener 3-4, in today's small ball NBA. He needs to really, really work on that spot up 3-point shot from all around the arc. And he really needs to be like a 20-point per game second option who's like a killer on defense. If he becomes that, and Towns becomes what he looks like he could be, then yeah, they're going to be monsters. And let alone, I mean, they've got a high lottery pick coming this year. You never know what you might add to that.
And of course, there's a lot to do. Of course, with free agency as well. I love this comment for the What If to look into the future with this team because this is easily one of the most watchable league pass teams. If you have to pick a lottery team to watch, don't watch the Knicks. They're freaking atrocious. Don't watch the Lakers unless you want to see Kobe's farewell season. You watch the Timberwolves because they are an exciting brand of basketball in a league that Charles Barkley has said has become unwatchable and terrible. But I look at Wiggins, and at least with him, he flashes some moments of brilliance now more regularly than he did during his freshman year in the NBA, especially towards the second half. He's got a sweet-looking jumper. We know that. And we know that his ceiling, I've kind of seen his ceiling as an NBA scoring champion. I know making an 8-point jump from 20 points per game is a big jump. You're talking 4 baskets at least, or 3.5 if you get the threes down, or 3 baskets if you get the threes down, I should say. But as you mentioned, it's just a matter of shot selection and getting stronger from other places other spots on the floor. Because if you keep going to the same spots, people are going to learn how to defend you in those spots and force you to places that you don't, or at least are more uncomfortable shooting from. Kawhi Leonard on repeat? I think everybody in the NBA should be watching Kawhi Leonard on repeat. If you're 5'2" or 7'8", Kawhi Leonard's. It's like it's funny. It's not just Kawhi. I used to say that about Tim Duncan. Like, if you want to learn just fundamental footwork, really for anybody on like the low block, just watch Tim. Tim Duncan is just such a master of the fundamentals that it's almost like you don't. It's like when the teacher wheeled in. This is a little bit of a throwback, like the VHS set to class with the TV on top of it. I'm not that old, but like that's what we had when I was in like elementary school. You'd be like, oh no, we're gonna watch a boring fundamental video about something like don't do drugs or don't do, or make sure to stay in school and all these things. And they made it's the right message, but it was kind of boring. That's Tim Duncan. The right message, kind of boring. But so with the what ifs in terms of the Timberwolves, I mean, look, if they get a good pick, obviously, are they going to be keeping their head coach for sure going into next season?
It's not for sure. I mean, they never took the interim tag off,
okay.
When he replaced Flip. It's possible they keep him next year. In some ways, I think it might be smart because he's kind of the veteran big brother type when this is a really young team. And if Garnett stays, there's continuity there between them because they used to play together. But I don't think it's official yet.
And Garnett would be kind of cool. I'd be down with Coach KG. He might go crazy. He might get a lot of technicals.
Yeah, he's always said he doesn't have the patience and from the little stories you hear about him, it seems like if he had a team full of perfect personalities, maybe it could work. But if somebody gets on his bad side or doesn't work as hard as he thinks they should, I can see them getting cut that day. And I don't know if you could run a team like that for a whole season.
Right. It could be a very interesting coaching vacancy if they do not give Sam Mitchell the head coach label in the offseason, but we will see what happens. In terms of the what-ifs for the future, what other teams would you like us to do the what-ifs for the future? Of course, I'd like to talk about the Knicks, but let us know in the comments section below. We'll go to the future, we'll go to the past, we'll stay in the present. We are a time machine of scenarios for you guys. Make sure to follow Andre at Professor DRZ on Twitter. Check the Hoops Lab column over at rotowire.com. Some fantastic stuff on a regular basis over there as well. As for myself, at JasonRubin91 at TYT Sports and Facebook.com/TYT Sports. We put up a nice Craig Sager, #SagerStrong tribute up today. So check that out as well. And we'll be back with more what ifs.